the Ugandans should know that outsiders may not easily understand Africa. So you need to explain. Because Africa is so rich, but also so underdeveloped. So it must be confusing to somebody who doesn't know. He may think that Africans are idiots. Why is it that Africa is so rich, but yet it's not developed? They may not tell you, but they have it in their mind. They wonder, what's wrong with these people? So you should really not assume that they will understand. Now, Africa is a very huge continent. You can get United States, China, India, the whole of Western Europe, and you put them in Africa, they will fit there. It's so huge, with a lot of resources. But also, Africa has really been underpopulated for a long time. Because, as you can hear, it is 12 times the size of India, but up to recently, our population was smaller than that of India. And why was this? This was because Africa is very good for the human beings, but also very good for the enemies of the human being. It is good for both the human being and his enemies. And who are the enemies? The mosquitoes, the tsetse flies, the bacteria. So the population of Africa has really been underpopulated for the last 4.5 million years. However, now, with modern medicine, we have been able to overcome now the enemies of man. That's why you hear that the population of Africa has now overtaken the population of India, although India is much smaller, 12 times smaller, but it has been having a bigger population all this time. But now the Africa population has overtaken India, and it will be 2.5 billion in the next 30 years. So therefore, those who are planning to make money, you should get your spectacles focused properly. Now, the other problem is that Africa has been balkanized by colonialism into 54 countries. They are the same people, mainly, but cut into 54 countries. So the market at the beginning at the end of colonialism, 1950 something, was fragmented. So Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Kenya, Tanzania. So that was another issue. The issue because business means you produce, you sell. The more you sell, the better. If you produce and you don't sell, you go bankrupt. or you don't sell enough. So that was another issue, the history. And then the history goes with the geography. A country like Uganda is very rich in everything. We have got everything. There's nothing that we don't have, except coal. Coal is the only thing we don't have. Coal. But we are landlocked. 1,000 miles from the ocean. So that's why there are for you who want to explain to outsiders come to Uganda, you should inform them fully so that they know. Don't just come and say, oh, come, you, what. They may not believe you because they are wondering, how is it a continent so rich yet so underdeveloped? They may not tell you, but they have it in their head. Now, coming to Uganda, the population now is 43 million. But at independence, 1962, population was small. It was only about 7 million. And the colonial economy was what we call an enclave economy. Enclave is a word for island. Island, enclave. So you get a small island. This was typical of the colonial economy. Colonial, neo-colonial. They were enclave. You have a small island of modernity surrounded by a sea of backwardness. That's what it was. And the enclave of Uganda was enclave of the 3 C's and 3 T's. The three C's were cotton, coffee, and copper. Those were the 3 products, the 3 C's. Cotton, coffee, and copper, which is the breach we are taking out. The 3 T's were tobacco, tea, and tourism. So this was 1962. But in 1971, a man called Idi Amin, who was a colonial sergeant, he was a sergeant in the British Army. The sergeant looks after 30 people in the army. He took over government and became a field marshal. He made himself a field marshal. So he ruined. So there were 2 problems. First of all, this enclave economy was small. But now Idi Amin comes in and destroys it. From 1972, the small enclave, the small island of what you would call a modern economy, a money economy, let me call it money economy. Because you need to understand that one also. Money economy versus non-money economy. Much of the economy of Africa is non-money. These foreigners, we will not understand that if you don't explain. The majority of the people, like in Uganda, Until recently, 68% of the people in Uganda were not in the money economy. They were in the non-money economy. That's why when you use money measurements, you may not understand. Because until 2013, 68% of the homesteads in Uganda were outside the money economy. They were in what we call subsistence economy. Economy where you feed your house. You grow your crops, you feed yourself, and you don't bother with the money. That's why, for instance, problems like the ones you have in other parts of the world, lack of food and so on, they talk about food security. In Uganda, we have no food problem, not at all. But it is food, non-money. You produce your own food. I produce my food, my neighbor produces his food, and we feed ourselves. But in terms of the money economy, I don't earn money. I eat, feed the stomach, but no money in my pocket. So because of that, I'm not able to build a better house, to do this, the things which need money. I have food, but no money. Remember, Africa is underpopulated. Population is small compared to the land area. You take a country like Congo DRC. DRC is the same size as India in land area, much richer in terms of natural resources. But it has got a population of only 80 million people.